Alright, this is Twisted Electrons Twist FM, and this synthesizer really can help enjoying FM synthesis and understanding what's behind all this. So let's hear a few sounds. There's some noise when you listen to it, and currently I'm using the heat parameter, and of course if heat is turned up, then the ratio of noise and sound becomes better. Heat is an option for the analog filter, but it's not that easily accessible. I'm lucky to have it here without disappearing. It usually disappears whenever a certain time passes or if I touch a knob. So it's important to access it the right way by turning cut off and then pushing this menu button, hardly to be seen. And well, it didn't work. Let's try again. Now there is the filter, and now I can push this and access heat and push again, and then turn it up to have more power. Going to menu, I'm coming back to the presets, and now if I choose another one, it takes a little while until it's in the memory, and I can hear it's not as loud while the noise is still there. But let's hear a few presets. Sound quite good. Takes a while, but now it's aftertouch programmed. It's a polyphonic synth. It has 8 voices, up to 8 voices. And the analog filter also has a resonance mode near to MS-20. I have to touch cut off, touch the menu button again, although it's a resonance mode. Now choose a flavor, and now it's MS-20. I turn up resonance, and there it is. If heat is turned up and resonance too, sometimes sound doesn't stop anymore. So now I'm switching back to flavor, to the other flavor, but now it's hard to get there again. Well, I was lucky. Flavor, liquid. Sounds smoother. So that's one nice thing, but there are also more options. For example, an arpeggiator and a sequencer that also can be accessed through a menu. But now let's get to the simple things of FM. FM is accessible here with all its features, and the idea of FM is that operators influence each other, modulate each other, and therefore they are not called oscillators but operators in an FM synth, and they each have their own volume knob and their own envelope and their own frequency setting, which is determined by a ratio normally in an FM synth, which is called multiply here. You can multiply by 1/2 and these numbers up to 15. So in FM8 from Native Instruments, for example, you don't have limitations here, and can freely set the ratio, which makes it easier to get some odd harmonics, but well, this maybe makes it easier to get not so odd harmonics, whatever. The thing is, with this kind of synth, the settings of the knobs hardly have anything to do with what you have in the preset. And what you can do about it is go into the menu and choose the panel option and then hit this push encoder. That means now all those settings are in the preset. And let's go to some sound design. The other option which I usually take is I use an Init preset, which is also possible. So now it's a very simple preset, but now those faders have nothing to do with my sound. There's also a randomize option. If I use this, I can choose how much change is applied. Now there's a 50% change, but it takes a while. You gotta be a bit patient. But let's go back to Init. Anyway, so all those operators have their volume fader, and the question is, which of them do you hear? And actually there's this algorithm, which means oscillators 1, 2, 3 and 4, they all go into the mix. And choose a wave for oscillator 1, choose one for 2, one for 3. There's a stereo effect in here. I'm turning this off now, putting the sound in the middle. And if I go to this algorithm by turning the algorithm fader, that means only oscillator 4 goes into the mix. So if I turn this down, I should hear nothing, but I don't hear anything from here, while I still hear something from this second layer. I have two sound layers, so turning those down too makes me hardly hear anything. So the operators 1, 2, 3 are just modulating in here, and that's typically for FM. And yeah, you can adjust how long the sounds play with ADSR envelopes. So let's use ADSR envelope of oscillator 4. And you hear that if I release the key, the FM modulation is gone. So if I want to have it while the release sound or release phase can be heard, I have to turn on release also from the other oscillators. While on the other hand, I can also say I make a shorter FM modulation. So that's how easy FM can be programmed in here, because you can access all those parameters. And you have two sound layers. So if I turn down 4 and open 5, then I have the second layer, and now oscillators 5 and 6 both enter the mix. I can, for example, assign one layer to the arpeggiator and the other play the other without the arpeggiator, and this operator also has a fine-tuning option, which is nice, but the second layer can also have a different algorithm, I turn the switch on oscillator 5 and I turn down operator 4, and now I'm only hearing operator 6 modulated by operator 5. So now the tuning doesn't have to do a lot with each other, so it needs a bit of tweaking, and there it is. At least I like it. So I hope this helped a bit. There's much more to learn about this synth. There's also a ribbon controller that can be used in various ways. It can also play chords and be used to slide between different chords, but I would need a different sound for this.